Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome to the show. Alhamdulillah, this is the iftar drive that lasts a few hours just before we hit the iftar of a beautiful day. Today is the 5th of Ramadan 1447. Coming to you live from the Salam Media Studios. This is Yunus Kawanga, your host. And Alhamdulillah, on today's iftar drive, we take a sobering look at how Ramadan is being observed in Gaza, where families are marking the holy month amid rebel destruction, and the lingering wounds of conflict. Our conversation is inspired by the article Ramadan Under the Rubble. Gaza welcomes a holy month amid ruin and unhealed wounds by Ahmed Asmar. Joining us now is the author himself to unpack the realities behind the headlines and share the human stories of resilience, faith, and community. Brother Ahmed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the show.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is my honor to be with you today. Thank you very much.
Shukran jazila, jazakumullah khair, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps you all in good faith in this beautiful month of Ramadan, inshallah. Ameen.
All of us, inshallah.
Now, Brother Ahmed, can you please summarize the core message of your article for our listeners and what drew you to the story?
Well, thank you very much. The article, before I wrote it, I had the idea from a conversation with my sister who is in Gaza. She lost her husband, of course. She has like 5 children, and she is living under the rubble. So all the contents of the article, I feel it and heard it from my sister, and which is one example of thousands or tens of thousands of families who are living just close to their destroyed homes, living in tents. So that's what brought me to write this article, to shed the light on a minor aspect of what the people in Gaza are living or enduring during the month of Ramadan. Of course, this month of Ramadan is exceptional. Alhamdulillah, we can say that it is not under the ongoing, it is not under the genocide that has been going and taking place for 2 years and stopped, let me say it, stopped in last October. However, we can say that still the aggression still continues, the bombardment still continues. There is no release or relief for the people, for the people's life. They are still living the same misery, the same difficult humanitarian conditions. Nothing has ameliorated or enhanced or improved in their lives. They are still living in deep poverty and in need of everything. They are still living in tents. We are speaking about more than half of the population are still living in tents, just close to their destroyed homes. And even the quality of these tents doesn't protect them from the winter cold or from the hot summer. So, and on the humanitarian issue on the ground, the people still, yes, we can say the genocide has a little bit stopped. The genocide, the scale of the genocide and the scale of the starvation has a little bit decreased, but still the people are still suffering. We are witnessing some prices, as our friends and people and relatives say to us, that there are some goods that are still high in its price, 300% than it is supposed to be. Of course, it depends on the item itself or the material itself. It might range from 50 and increase 50% until 300%. And the amount of goods and aids that are entering Gaza is less than 25% of the agreed upon, according to the ceasefire agreement and the humanitarian protocol attached to the ceasefire agreement. So still the people are living in bad need. Of course, they are still living the memory of the genocide that they have endured for over 2 years. And especially it is very hard for them in the month of Ramadan, when they are gathering on the table of suhoor or the table of the iftar, and some of the family members are not among them, and they will not be back for them. The families also remember the loss and the pain of the loss when they go to the mosque for the Isha prayer and Taraweeh prayer, and many of their loved ones are not among them. So the most harsh thing for them is the loss and the pain of the absence of their loved ones who are still, because in the month of Ramadan, where the family gather together and have their meals and celebrate the month, go to the mosque with each other. So that is still like a big tragedy for the people who are living in Gaza.
Subhanallah. Now, you touched on a very interesting point regarding most of the people are feeling the pain of losing their family members and loved ones. Now, looking at this concept, what did you see about how families are maintaining the Ramadan traditions despite all the displacement and destruction? Is it carrying on? Are they still trying to get into the mood and the groove of settling into the Ramadan feel and atmosphere, or has it somehow lost its sense?
That's another part of the story, and it's a good question. Of course, despite the pain, despite the loss, despite the humanitarian tragedy that is still ongoing in Gaza, but the people didn't lose faith. They didn't lose faith, and they are still. They didn't fast from despair. No, they are not surrendering to this tragedy, but they insist on celebrating and marking and observing the month of Ramadan with all available needs, with all available means they have in their possession. For example, you can go to a tent, but you can see and realize some decorations, and there are many photos on social media that can show what I'm saying. Many people inside these tents are decorating their tents with some kind of candles, some kind of drawings, welcome Ramadan. So that is like sending a message for themselves and to the world that we are still here, we are still surviving, and we will still continue to live our lives and to mark the holy rituals we hold in our faith. So that is a strong message that still in people in Gaza still hold it and make it like a daily appearance in Gaza. You can go to the walls, the cracked walls in the damaged homes, and you can see that they are decorating it with any available tools just to mark the month of Ramadan, and also to convey to their children that this month we will celebrate it, and despite everything there is we are living through, but still we have a space and we will make a space to celebrate.
Subhanallah. And on that note, also speaking about the rituals of the beautiful month of Ramadan, then how would you say that fasting, prayer, and community iftars have changed for people in Gaza this year?
Well, of course, it has been changed a lot. The diversity of the meals, the diversity of what they used to put on the table is now replaced by very tiny things, or what is available from the charity kitchens, because more than 70% or maybe more of the people are depending on the charity kitchens, that they depend on them for their iftar and suhoor. So of course this is something also like it has changed from what was before the genocide and what is now, because all of the people, most of Gazan people lost their source of living, so they are unavailable to afford to buy what they used to have and to include on their iftar meal or on the suhoor meal. No, it is like they are just having maybe a kind of pieces of bread or some lentils or something like this, or as I told you, that they depending on the charity kitchens, what will they cook for them.
Subhanallah. And also the article mentioned parts of shortages of food, fuel, and basic services, which also alluded to before, that devastating, because especially in this beautiful month of Ramadan, as we know that people are supposed to have these basic needs and means in order to be able to observe the beautiful month of Ramadan. However, connecting to that, then, what is then the psychological and the social impact when masajids are destroyed and loved ones also are lost, adding on to the points that you had mentioned before?
Yeah, يعني more than 90% of the mosques in Gaza are destroyed, and they were deliberately targeted and destroyed along with the churches. We have also churches in Gaza that were also deliberately targeted, and people who were sheltering inside were killed. So more than 90% of the mosques in Gaza are destroyed, completely razed to the ground. But still, you go in every square in Gaza, you find tents that they have erected tents on the space of near the places of the mosques, and they are like performing the prayers, the 5 prayers, and especially the Taraweeh prayers. So this ritual, despite loss of everything, they are still having it even on the ground, without having carpets, without having all this kind of luxury mosques that we used to have in Gaza, and this wonderful buildings. But unfortunately now, they are using like tents, and even sometimes without tents, but just they are gathering and they are performing the prayer. Because what is important is the meaning of this prayer and the meaning of this ritual for themselves, to keep their faith, to keep them alive, that we are still, despite everything, we are still there, we are practicing our faith, we are practicing our rituals in the way we used to do it before the genocide. Yes, the circumstances is different. There is no mosque. Most of the mosques are being raised out, as I said, but still they are finding a place to hold these prayers.
Subhanallah. And also looking at the resilience and the hope of the Palestinians, subhanallah, it's matched to none other in the world. Then how have the local solidarity initiatives or international aid organizations been affected, especially in this Ramadan, by observing it on the ground?
Well, because the siege is still taking place, the amount of food and aid entering Gaza is very scarce. It's not in the quantity that, as I told, it's not in the quantity that was agreed upon. So there is lack. There is still lack of food for the people, or shortage, or there are many types or like foods that are still inavailable in Gaza. But despite this, there is a kind of solidarity between the people, that they share what they have. When you go, no, you will see the people sharing what they have of food, of each other. So the question of solidarity has been in its peak in Gaza during the genocide and after the genocide in these days. Still there is solidarity between the people, there is takaful between the people. So you find this because we are one family in Gaza. When we say that, we all know each other. Yes, we are 2 million, but we have like a proverb or a joke in Gaza that all the 2 million know each other. So the people know each other, and especially those who are living in one school, sheltering in one school. So they are either erecting their tents beside each other or are living in the classrooms beside each other. So they know everything about each other. They are living the same misery. Of course, they will share what they have of food like this.
Subhanallah. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does alleviate all the struggles that are being faced in Gaza by our brothers and sisters. And inshallah, lastly, on the point of now looking ahead, inshallah, what key takeaway would you like us here at the Iftar Drive and the listeners to remember about the people of Gaza this Ramadan?
Thank you. That's a great question, really. In fact, that what is required from the entire Islamic Ummah and the free peoples worldwide. what they can do, that they have to take into consideration that the genocide stopped in its scale, in its intensity, but it didn't stop in total. The aggression is still ongoing. The siege is still ongoing. Until now, the Israeli occupation, look how dirty they are. They are not allowing the entry of caravans for those people to live in a kind of dignified life in these caravans or mobile homes. But until now, they are not allowing them to enter Gaza and blackmailing the people in Gaza not to bring these items for a dignified life in Gaza. So what we want from the world to know that the people in Gaza are still suffering. The people, yes, there is ceasefire, but we can say that there is daily killing, daily bombardment, daily aggression against the people. And still the Israeli occupation army didn't withdraw from the Gaza Strip. So you have to take into consideration that the international and the global action must continue and to raise their voice in solidarity with the Palestinian and to take part in the efforts to remove this oppression from the Palestinian people. And I can tell that your voice is heard around the world, everywhere, from South Africa to Europe, to America, to Asia, to Africa, everywhere. Your voices are healed and making the difference. But you have to continue and you have to keep the solidarity action, because it is not a kind of an obligation for the Muslims. It is like part of our humanity, that you have to stand with those people who are being slaughtered on live. They have been slaughtered. We are speaking about more than 80,000 people have been killed during just a matter of 2 years. They have been killing in mass the people, and still the remaining 2 million in Gaza, they are still suffering because of the Israeli occupation. So what is needed is to continue the boycott campaigns, which is a very effective tool. And we have wrote and we have spoken many about how the boycott campaigns are effective to stop those monsters from committing this genocide against the Palestinians, against the innocent people in Gaza. So that is very important. And of course, at the end, keep the people in your dua and keep them and in your support. Allocate from your money, from what you have to the %2 or 3% of the reality on the ground.
100%. Now, speaking about effective measures and effective action forward, inshallah. So we also look at the peace plan and Trump's plan for Gaza. Now, what is your thought on that program now?
Well, this is kind of a political question, yani, but unfortunately, this peace, which is headed by US President Donald Trump, it is not an effective peace. It is a kind of like they are trying to subjugate the Palestinian people and the Palestinian resistance. We can say it frankly that it is not acceptable. It is not a peace plan that because the root cause of the problem is not addressed in this so-called peace plan, which is the occupation. There is no mention that Israel has to withdraw from the Palestinian occupied territories, that they have to allow the establishment of the Palestinian state. So unless the root causes of this conflict will be addressed, there is no peace plan. Yes, Trump can say that he is, by the way, like when said clear that he is lying. There is no peace on the ground in Gaza. He is allowing Israel to do whatever they want to do. Israel is committing killings every day, violations every day. Hundreds of violations are committed. As I can just tell you that since the ceasefire took place in October last year until now, more than 600 Palestinians have been killed. So, and even America, which is the sponsor of the peace plan, but they are the one who sponsored the genocide over 2 years, and they said it clearly. They said it that we provided Israel with all what it needed of weapons. So what is needed that to make a kind of a pressure campaign just to enhance the conditions of this peace plan. Yes, of course, we are happy that the genocide has stopped. But it doesn't mean the end of the story, because as long as the occupation continues, we, the Palestinians, will never seize our right to resist that occupation and to seize our right to have our independent Palestinian state. That is, no one will deceive the Palestinians, because we are a living people. We are alive. We know what is going around us. So that is that we will not accept, even if now we can like say this peace plan, we are with it, or because we can't say we are against it. By the way, I'm speaking frankly, because America is sponsoring it, and all of the Arab countries, and maybe you can say the entire international community is supporting this so-called peace plan. But in fact, it is not addressing the root cause of the problem.
100%. Brother Ahmed, Jazakumullah khair for joining us. It's always a pleasure to speak to the brothers and sisters in Gaza itself, so that we can have a better perspective of what's happening and better understanding, so that inshallah we can be inspired to do more, especially in this beautiful month of Ramadan, the month of giving and the month of generosity. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does safeguard yourself, your family, and all those in Gaza from all the atrocities and the conflict, inshallah. Ameen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, that was brother